You take your car in for an oil change. Simple enough. Maybe you need new wiper blades, too. You figured this would take an hour, cost around $50, and you'd be on your way. But then the service advisor comes back with a clipboard and a look on their face. Turns out your brake pads are getting thin, your air filter is clogged, there's a fluid that's gone dark and needs flushing. And that noise you've been ignoring? Yeah, they found that too. Suddenly, your $50 oil change is staring down $450, and you're sitting in a waiting room with bad coffee, a television nobody's watching, and a car that's already on the lift. What just happened? Was that a dishonest mechanic? Maybe, but probably not. What you just experienced was something far more interesting. You got processed by a system that was carefully designed, from the waiting room to the work order, to find problems, create urgency, and open your wallet wider than you planned. And today, we're going to show you exactly how it works. Hey, I'm Mike, and this is How Systems Work, the show that pulls back the curtain on the everyday systems that shape your decisions, your habits, and yes, your wallet, usually without you even noticing. We're not here to make you paranoid. We're here to make you sharper. Because once you see how a system is built, you can't unsee it. And that's when you stop being processed by it and start moving through it on your own terms. Today's system is one almost everybody has bumped into: the car repair industry. And specifically, the remarkably consistent way that a simple trip to the shop has a habit of turning into something much more expensive than you planned. This isn't about crooked mechanics. Most of them are just doing their jobs. This is about the structure behind the job. The incentives, the process, the psychology. All of it working together like a well-oiled machine. No pun intended. Let's get into it. Here's where it starts. You pull in, tell them what you need, and before you can sit down, they offer you something. A free multi-point inspection. No charge. Just a courtesy check while they're in there anyway. Sounds reasonable. Who says no to free? But here's what that inspection actually is. It's a structured sales tool. Almost every major repair chain and dealership service department uses a standardized checklist that covers dozens of items on your vehicle. Tires, brakes, fluids, filters, belts, lights, hoses. The whole car gets graded, usually with a color system. Green means fine. Yellow means watch it. Red means fix it now. That color system is doing a lot of work. It takes something complicated and makes it feel urgent and simple at the same time. You don't need to understand what a CV axle is. You just need to see that it's yellow. And yellow means something is coming. The inspection isn't dishonest by itself. Your car probably does need things. But the inspection was never really about your car. It was about building a list. And that list is about to become a conversation. Now here's where the system really clicks into gear. Because at some point during that inspection, your car goes up on the lift. And the moment it does, something important shifts. You're not a customer browsing anymore. You're a captive. Think about it. Your car is in the air. The wheels are off. You can't say, "Let me think about it," and drive away. You can't call your brother-in-law who knows about cars. You're in a waiting room with a coffee machine and nowhere to be except right there. The shop knows this. They've always known this. And the timing of when they come to you with that clipboard is not accidental. They don't tell you about the additional work before the car goes up. They tell you after. When leaving means reassembling your vehicle, which takes time, which they control. This is called the captive moment. And it is the single most powerful piece of leverage in the entire system. Not the inspection, not the color chart, the lift. Because once you're up, the conversation changes. Now it's not about whether you'll spend more, it's about how much. So now you're sitting there with a list of problems you didn't know you had this morning, and the service advisor is explaining them to you. And here is where the next layer of the system kicks in. They speak a language you probably don't. Caliper brackets, serpentine belts, coolant flush intervals, differential fluid. These are real things, but to most people, they're just words. And when you don't understand the words, you can't evaluate the urgency. You can't push back intelligently. You can't tell the difference between something critical and something that can wait 6 months. That gap between what they know and what you know is called information asymmetry. And in the repair shop system, it is worth a lot of money. It's not that the advisor is necessarily lying to you. It's that they don't need to. They just need to describe the problem in enough technical detail that questioning it feels risky. Because what if they're right? What if you drive out of here and that thing they warned you about actually fails? That fear has a price tag, and they know exactly what it is. Let's talk about that fear for a minute. Because it's not accidental, it's a tool. When a service advisor tells you your brake pads are dangerously thin, they aren't just sharing information. They are triggering something instinctive. Nobody wants to be the person whose brakes failed on the highway. Nobody wants to put their kids in a car they were warned about and then have something go wrong. Safety is the most powerful word in the repair shop. It short-circuits rational thinking. It makes price feel secondary. Because you're not calculating cost anymore. You're calculating risk. And when the risk is your safety or your family's safety, most people stop negotiating. This is why the language at the shop is almost always safety adjacent. Your tires are a blowout risk. Your brake fluid is compromised. Your belts are showing wear that could leave you stranded. Every item on that yellow and red list gets framed around what could happen if you don't act today. Urgency is the accelerator. Fear is the fuel. And the system runs on both. Not because mechanics are predatory, but because it works. Every single time. Here's something that doesn't happen in most stores. When you walk into a grocery store, nobody sizes you up to see how much they can charge you. The price is the price. But walk into a repair shop and something different happens. Before the inspection is even finished, you are already being read. How did you describe the problem when you came in? Did you say the car is making a noise? Or did you say it sounds like it might be a worn wheel bearing? Did you ask questions or did you just nod? Did you mention you know someone who works on cars? Are you dressed like someone who might call around for a second opinion? Service advisors are not doing this consciously in most cases. It becomes instinct after years behind the counter. But the assessment is real, and it directly shapes the conversation you are about to have. How hard they push. How technical they get. How much they expect you to spend without resistance. Walk in knowing nothing and showing it, and the list gets longer. Walk in with confidence and a few smart questions, and the system recalibrates immediately. Knowledge is the only currency that rebalances this equation. Now here's a move most people don't recognize because it doesn't look like a sales tactic. It looks like honesty, maybe even integrity. You ask the shop to do a partial repair. Maybe you just want the most urgent thing fixed today and you'll handle the rest later. Or maybe you found a cheaper workaround and you want them to execute it. And the mechanic says no. They won't do it that way. What just happened? In some cases, that really is a professional standing on principle. A good mechanic doesn't want to do shoddy work. That's legitimate. But in many cases, something else is happening. The mechanic is running a calculation. If they do a partial repair and something fails later, even something unrelated, you are coming back to them. That exposure, the possibility that they touched it and now they own it, is a liability they've decided isn't worth the revenue. So they refuse. And that refusal pushes you toward the full repair, the more expensive one, the one that removes their risk entirely while solving yours. It looks like they're protecting you, and maybe they are. But the turndown is also a system move, one that almost always costs you more. So why does all of this happen so consistently? Why does it feel like every shop, every time, somehow finds more work than you came in for? Because the people inside that shop are not paid to fix only what's broken. They're paid to find everything that could be fixed. And there's a big difference. Most service advisors work on commission. A percentage of every repair they sell goes into their paycheck. The more they write up, the more they make. That's not a secret. That's just how the job works. And it means the person explaining your car problems to you has a direct financial interest in how many problems they find. The mechanics themselves often work on what's called a flat rate system. They get paid a set number of hours for each job, regardless of how long it actually takes. Fix it fast, you still get paid for the full time, which means volume matters. More jobs, more pay. Put those two incentive structures together, and you get a system that is perfectly designed to find work, sell work, and move on to the next car as fast as possible. Nobody had to design it to be that way intentionally. The incentives did it automatically. That's how systems work. So the next time you pull into a shop for something simple, you'll know what's coming. Not because mechanics are villains. Most of them are skilled people doing honest work inside a system that was built around a very specific set of incentives. But now you see the system. The free inspection that builds the list. The lift that locks you in. The technical language that makes questioning feel risky. The fear that shuts down your negotiating instinct. The read they do on you the moment you walk through the door. The turn down that steers you toward the bigger repair. And the commission structure humming quietly behind all of it. Knowing this doesn't mean you stop going to mechanics. It means you go in differently. Ask questions. Get a second opinion on anything over a certain dollar amount. Learn 3 or 4 basic car terms before you walk in. And never let urgency make a $400 decision for you in a waiting room. The system works because most people don't see it. Now you do. I'm Mike. This is how systems work. We'll see you next time.